Today I'm going to show you how I made a mini pottery studio. Now I may be taking over the basement. Aside from my regular art studio, I've claimed this corner of the basement and put together a space, a temporary space, but a space where I can practice pottery at home. So I'll give you the tour. It won't take long, but I'll show you how I was able to put things together and make a usable space for pottery. I haven't built any permanent walls for the pottery space because we haven't decided exactly how we want to configure the rest of the basement. On the right you see some old louver doors that came with the house, and I put those up as a temporary wall space next to what is my wedging table. The wedging table consists of an old tabletop with 4 IKEA legs. Now, clay will stick to the tabletop, which is why I have a piece of birch plywood on top of that. Once the birch plywood is oiled, it will be a very good surface for wedging the clay, allowing me to just scrape off the excess when I'm done. I have a small digital kitchen scale that runs on batteries, and I use that to measure out the clay that I'm going to wedge. Above the wedging table, I have a pegboard that I hung up, and that allows me to hang any kind of tools that I might want to use for hand building. I found that the wedging table was going to be too low, and so I put it up on bed risers. And to make sure that it didn't move when I was wedging clay, I also fastened it to the back wall. When you're using the wheel, I don't know about you, but I often get splatter. And so I put up a piece of plastic, not only to protect the unfinished drywall, but underneath that curtain is the outlet that the wheel is plugged into, and so is my extra light. And I wanted to keep water away from the outlet. I repurposed these IKEA shelves that were in our workshop. I enclosed the top 2 shelves in plastic and created a slow-dry area for pottery. There is a plastic flap that comes down and closes the front of the shelves. But if I just have a small piece, I can cover them with a cloche that I bought at the dollar store. They sell them in the garden section to cover plants. The next shelf is for greenware that needs to be bisque-fired, and the shelf below that is for bisque-fired items that need to be glazed. The bottom shelf is where I'm keeping clay, and there's more in a bin on the side. I have a bucket for reclaimed clay and a small mirror on the shelf above that so that I can look sideways and see the profile of the pot that I'm throwing. The top shelf has a couple of bats, some brushes, glazes, and some other tools. And I have an old Lazy Susan that I can use as a banding wheel. I have an IKEA stool in front of my small pottery wheel, which is lifted up on a wooden base. And I've rigged up a table across the front of it so that I can put my water and my tools while I'm throwing. I will be using a bucket system since I don't have a clay trap on my sink. As the clay settles in the bottom of the bucket, I will use a large syringe to remove the water and reclaim the clay. I have curtains hanging to define the space and separate it from the rest of the basement. Keeping the area clean and having the curtains helps prevent any clay dust from spreading to the other parts of the house. And that's it. That's my little pottery space. You can support my channel by subscribing so YouTube will share my videos with more people. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I post a video. Thank you for watching.